Well, good morning, everybody. And I can tell you what, it's another beautiful one here on the Sunshine Coast. Before I go ahead with today's little snippet, I just want to address the little starter packs. I know that there has been a delay in getting these to you all. However, I have chosen to work with a small company who hand dyes these threads. And so when I put it out there that I had these for sale, I was totally inundated with orders. And so that meant that when I went to Color Streams and I spoke to Chris, who owns it, I said, Chris, I need this amount. So she had to hand dye them and get them to us. So all I'm going to say is, I'm sorry about the delay, but we are supporting a wonderful small company who makes gorgeous colors and gloriousness, and perhaps maybe it's worth waiting for. They have been in the post. So all of those of you who ordered it a while ago, about 2 weeks ago, they have all been posted. So, you know, we are up to date. So, but once again, thank you so much for your patience. You know, today I'm going to talk about feather stitch. And if I had to choose a stitch that is my ultimate favorite, I will have to say it's a feather stitch. She's a lovely stitch. She's very traditional, but she has the enormous ability to look unfortunate. And so today I thought I would just go through a few little tips to maybe help you, you know, find your way through getting a feather stitch that's lovely. So you can see this is a crazy quilt of mine. And, you know, crazy quilting is something very special to me. I absolutely love crazy quilting. I keep mine quite subdued and I don't overpack it with stitches, but you can see that this over there is a feather stitch. There is another feather stitch over here. That's another feather stitch there. I hope I'm in, you know, there's another one here. Another beautiful feather stitch over here. And lastly, oh, there's one here. And lastly, oh, there's quite a few on here, and the feather stitch is actually going around each one of these little squares. So it's very traditional in crazy quilting as well, feather stitch. And also I find it quite I find it very helpful and useful in my embroidery. Oh, guts, I'm going to have to move this camera, so sorry if it gets the wobble on. Okay, so why I'm going through the feather stitch today is that on our hexagon duvet, I have started doing a feather stitch. So you can see I have pressed this really well. I have removed my papers and I have stabilized it with an iron-on stabilizer. So my raw edges are folded under because that's actually important when we put this bag together. Now, let me just see if I can give me more space. I don't think I can. What I just want you to remember is there's a band, there's a whole lot of, this over here is the bottom of this purse. So we don't necessarily need to have embroidery at the bottom. I'm going to just put embroidery everywhere, but you know, it's up to you. And you can see here on this section over here, I have done, this is in the book and it's in, it's on my favorite page. Where is it now? There you go. So it's in Foolproof Flower Embroidery and it's on page 58, and I have done this here for the moment. It might not stay like that, but I have started. I've done beautiful gentle curves, please, and then I have added sequins on top of that. In the next lesson I'm going to talk about beading and sequins, but for this one I'm going to stay with a feather stitch. Now, I don't know if you're aware that a fern, for example, has it looks like this. There is a central point all the way down. Fly stitch is exactly the same thing. It has also got a V, and then they just pile on all the way down. A feather stitch does not. So let's have a look at this feather stitch. you can see that there's no central line to this. Oh, it's difficult to see because this is on a curve. But it sort of looks like this, and then there's another one here, and then there's another one here. So there is no central line going down here. And that causes us to be a little bit unfortunate with our stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the proper way, how you all work. So I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to turn it around in my hoop and work another feather stitch on a curve that's and I work upside down, as you know. So without confusing you, I'll talk you through this. So feather stitch, you come out, and directly in line where that thread came out, you're going to take your needle out, and then you're going to come between that, forming a perfect little V. And your thread is going to come towards you. I'm just checking to see that I'm actually in. Yeah, I am. So it's going to go from left to right. So reinsert your needle there, take her through, and then come between her, forming a perfect little V. Let's go to the left now, in line with over there, and back down. I'm a stab stitcher, so that's how I will do it. If you're a scooper, you might be doing it like this. Okay, so there you go. I am now have completed quite a few feather stitches there, and you will notice that I cannot draw a line down the middle because each feather stitch looks like that. That's all good. That's all fair and well. When you do this, you're going to go, okay, I can do that. When we hit a curve, for example, that's when people turn this into a straight feather stitch. So you can see perfect V, perfect V. This is not a feather stitch when I come out there. Well, it is, but it's a straight feather. This comes down to there. Can you see? Then all of a sudden, my feather stitch is heading in this direction, whereas I wanted her to go straight down. This leg is shorter than that one. So if I had moved her over, if this had come there, for example, which I can't do, then it would have been a feather stitch. So just remember, each feather stitch is a perfect little V. It's not this where it's all in a straight line. I get carried away with feather stitch, but anyway. So just remember that as you're going to do a curve, just complete. Don't worry about the feather stitch that's gone before. Just worry about this one and point your feather stitch in the direction she wants to go in a perfect little V. So now, having said all that and really, made this life difficult for you, I'm going to go back onto this, my little sampler thing there, and let's draw. Isn't that bird beautiful? Oh, okay, so there's my curve. Now, I have been working towards me here. Traditionally, that's how everybody works. Unfortunately, I prefer to work upside down, so this might be confusing, but at the end of the day, I need to work in the way that makes me happy. This brown that I'm working with now is a pearl number 8, and it's from Valdani. You know me and browns, we can never, browns and greens, we can never have enough of. Now remember I said that this doesn't have a central line like a fern. Remember, this is a fern stitch there, it's all the way down. But a feather stitch doesn't do it. So I actually cannot use this line I've just drawn. It's just simply a guide for me. So if I come up, let me just work correctly for you, because then I think it's going to be less confusing for you all. All I'm going to do is make sure that each little feather stitch is pointing in the direction that I'm wanting to go. So there, that arrow is heading along there. So now I'm going to go to your left now. Let me just check where I am. Yep, to your left. So I cannot go on that drawn line, because if I go on that drawn line, it becomes a straight feather stitch, which I don't want. So move her over and just point slightly in the direction you want it to go. Let's go on this side, back down. Perfect V. I'm not worried about that stitch that's gone ahead of it. It's not important. I'm going to be concerned with getting this feather stitch as perfect as I can be. And there she is. She's a perfect V. Let's go to this side. So I'm not worrying about that other one, that one that's gone ahead of me. I'm just going to be concerned with this one pointing to where I'm wanting to go. To your right. Back down. Come up. Pull your thread towards me. Another perfect V. And I am turning these corners without getting any uneven straight feather stitches. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Another one. Back down there. Oh, bringing something from the back. Hey, what would happen if I put a knot on my feather stitch? Let's loop this around. Back of my needle. Underneath that feather stitch. Over the loop of my thread. Pull it towards me. I have a knot. Let's do another feather. There. Come up in the middle of her. In the direction I want her to go. Let's add a knot. Loop around. Underneath my leg. Over my loop. And pull towards me. Oh, do not tangle. There you go. What? Oh, you see? That's a bit unfortunate. And before you know it, you will have beautiful feather stitches that are not straight stitches, and they curve and give you beautiful shape. So there you go. I hope this lesson has been, have I been a little bit far away? Maybe you can pinch your screen up and see if you can get it, even. What I'd quickly like to address now is when we're adding a stitch into another group of stitches. So I'm going to thread up. I've threaded up with a 2mm silk ribbon here. And let's say you want to make a little starburst. Let's see where I am here. There I am. So if I come out, I would like you to try and make sure that all your stitches come from out into where the central point of all your threads are. Can you see I'm going back into where all the threads are? I'm not coming out of that to there. I'm going from there back in there. The reason why this is better is that it doesn't disturb the tension of your threads. There you go. Okay. So the same thing. If I'm wanting to add, let's just cut this off very quickly. Come on, ribbon, do what I want you to do. So if I wanted to add this ribbon onto there, what I would do is I would come from out in to where there are a few other stitches, because you want to smooth those threads. Don't twist on me, ribbon. All right, you can twist. You're not listening anyway. Back down there. Oh, guts. Hang on, peeps. I've lost my ribbon. Okay. Another thing. So, I'm not going to talk about beading now, because I'm already into 14 minutes, and I'm really trying to keep these snippets really short. So I go back to this. Why I have drawn this here, this stitch might not be there. The reason why I've done that is so that you can see that I've only taken up a small section of my hexagon bag, because obviously I want to add all sorts of things happening. Just remember that this band over here is this bit over here is the bottom of the purse or the clutch. So maybe it's a good idea for your stitching to come out over there. So that's a feather stitch. I'm really hoping that you will master it, because as I said, she's really good, but she can be terribly, terribly unfortunate. So thanks for your time. Bye for now.